Wait, just make sure. Here's a good one. Make sure I got everything in order. Okay, here's another one from the Washington Institute. I mean, the crazies. Anyway, here we go.
Is it possible that the Israelis may begin to have some issues about munitions, either Iron Dome munitions or offensive munitions? And, you know, do they manufacture, some of that come from the U.S.? Is it possible that the Israelis...
So they're worried about, I mean, that's ridiculous. It's the most absurd thing ever. And what happens is not all the rockets are going to come close to Israel cities or communities. Certainly just a tiny 0.5% at best. And that's the ones they might shoot at. And they can afford to shoot a whole bunch of rockets to knock it down, but then they pad the numbers. And if this was a real army, if they were fighting a real army, they'd be massacred. They can't even go fight people that throws rocks and rockets without warheads. They'd be massacred. They went up against Iran, they'd be finished. It'd be doom time for all of them. They couldn't last a minute. They can't go fight people with weapons that shoot back. All they can do is fight people with nothing. And people with bombs that can barely damage a car. That's what a rocket from Hamas will do. Right? That's an official one. Pops the window out. And if you go out and search on Google for Hamas rocket or rocket damage to Israel or rocket attack against Israel, you're not going to find a single picture. Nothing. There's not a picture out there of Israel getting hit by anything. How unusual is that? How messed up is that? Here we go again. We got a lot more to get through yet. And so I clicked on that one. I think this one he's talking about. Oh yeah, this is over the top. But here you go.
Total strikes, again in the first 10 days, over 2,000, probably up around 3,000 strikes as of today, and are averaging, as many as 200 strikes a day into Gaza. And it's useful to think about the amount of strike activity relative to the claimed civilian casualties, right? By the calculation.
Let me come back to that one more time. I smurfed up, I guess. I jumped on it. So much to get through. We'll keep going. Here we go.
It takes about 6 to 7 airstrikes to kill one, Palestinian, right? And about 1.4 airstrikes to kill or to injure one, civilian or Palestinian.
Civilian or Palestinian. Okay. We're getting to the nitty-gritties now, to the good stuffs. So 1.4 strikes to injured. There's over 5,000 injured. And over 1,000 bodies they got back. There's probably another 1,000 buried on all the rubble. And there's a massive, inconceivable, unimaginable amount of rubble. Okay? Just like it's over the top stuff. So we got a couple more clips from them guys. Then we're getting the Benny Benjamin Netanyahu. And was the Iron Dome? The Iron Dome. Here's a little perp on the Iron Dome.
In addition to the rocket fire, every day there's a lot of mortar fire right along the border that goes into Israeli settlements and so on. But also a lot of that goes against Israeli ground force installations along the border with Gaza. Rockets versus Iron Dome. This has got a huge amount of attention. I think in the media, it's one of the things the media is really grappled onto. But it's useful to remember in thinking about Iron Dome and how it works and all that, is that it only attempts to intercept rockets that are determined to be a threat. So not every rocket that comes out of Gaza is going to be, there's going to be an attempted interception by the Iron Dome system. At the beginning of this conflict, the Israelis appear to have had 7 Iron Dome batteries in operation. Most of those were in the south. By this time, they now have 10 Iron Dome batteries in operation. They rushed three more into service during the course of the conflict. Pretty significant accomplishment. In the first 10 days.
So they got 3 more Iron Dome batteries up. So a lot of money. Now this next clip coming up It's over to your left. You're going to see. Oh, we got that. Make sure my audio is on that. Okay. So the next clip, you're going to see what's really going on in that neighborhood. These people are hiding because they hear of a rocket attack, right? So this is just military people jumping out of their cars playing the game. They're not worried about hitting by a rocket. It can barely damage your car like I've been showing you. But here's what they do every day to the children in the Palestine in their neighborhoods. And they harass them. They get in their faces. And you get no peace. The ultra-orthodoxies gang up on it. The military will come in and arrest them if they fight back. And every day they have to struggle to get out their door. Every day they have to struggle to walk down the street. You can see the soldier coming. He ain't going to do jack shit. He ain't going to arrest anybody. He ain't going to scold them. He just knows there's a camera in that area, so he got to give it up. Now he's going in and harassing them. Stay in your house. I'll shoot you. I didn't do nothing, the young fella says. Shut up. And meanwhile, they're telling the whole world, oh, we're driving down the road. Do you think you're any safer? Like, do you think... Hang on a second. Like, your terror that you're feeling right there is not the same as that kid's terror, okay? Your terror is you're worried about your insurance, got to pay for a back window. Your terror is not realistic. These kids in this car, they're truly terrorized. They're terrified. They're terrorized of the word Israeli, and rightly so. It has no conscience. It has no soul to it. It attacks people with no weapons. It attacks people who can't fight back. It attacks people with no helicopters, no jet fighters, no tanks, no artillery, just jack shit. People with no training, with no sophistication, no satellites, no drones, no chemical, biological, directed energy weapons like over my head. Oh, coming up over my head. But look at these bombs. Think about what we're talking about here. Compared to what? Compared to something that can break out a window. Compared to something that the middle one there, that's a directed energy weapon. The ones around it are kinetic bombs, right, with explosives in it. But the one in the middle, that's a directed energy weapon. And you can see it doesn't throw out debris. This is absolutely stunning, folks. This is unbelievable, unimaginable, inconceivable that they're doing that against people with nothing. And people can't even fight back. And they hide away thousands of yards, miles away. And you can see the depleted uranium rounds sitting on the ground. And you just stick it in the tank and fire it. They don't know. They don't even understand. They don't consider that these people are humans too. They don't consider that they got families, they got hopes and dreams, and that 5 million refugees, 5 million refugees, let me keep going, 5 million, and not only that, look, that corner over there, Gaza, little tiny strip, and the West Bank, settlers, that's all settlers, that's the maddest. And we got Mr. Man Rules. What are you people talking about? A dirty nuke bomb that will start World War III, and we won't be talking online. We'll be dead. Then think, what will the wind blow? Do you know anything about what we're talking about? You should go hang out with kids or something because you have no concept of what we're talking about. You really don't. There you go, dirty bomb. So that whole area is contaminated with radiation. I'm not insulting you, man. I'm just saying you don't understand what's really going on here, obviously. No offense. Gaza has fallen victim to Israel's experimental wars. And they have, 600 or 700 of these checkpoints. They know everybody's cell phone. They knows everybody's number. And Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu has a long history. A long history. Here's Benny.
Look, I'm 28 years old. I've had to defend my country in 2 wars and in many battles. Now, no one is denying that there are Palestinian Arabs. There's a very distinguished Palestinian Arab sitting right next to me.
What should be done with the Palestinians on the West Bank? There's a problem, so what should be done about it, in your opinion?
Well, I think that the Palestinians in the West Bank are going to be offered the full human rights, the full civil rights, as no Arabs are offered in the Middle East. No Arabs whatsoever have any full human rights or the right to vote for their own government. Those Arabs who lived in Israel in the pre-67 boundaries are the only Arabs in the Middle East who offer that right, and I'm all in favor of having the same Arabs.
He's crazy. He's a madman. 28 years old. And he's still at it today with the same rhetoric, the same nonsense, the same song and dance, the same non-promise. Never, never, never. Think about these detonations. They kill animals like you wouldn't believe. And then they poison and they destroy. Like, every rocket that Hamas has couldn't do that. Every rocket that Hamas has combined couldn't pull that off. That's Israel's tank rounds. And they're just popping away at it. Bang, 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 bang. Let's keep going. Here's another clip about the rocket.
Says that over 70 rockets have been fired on Israeli settlements since the early hours of Wednesday. Israel says that 2 of the 3 rockets that were fired at the nuclear city of Dimona landed near its nuclear reactor, while only 1 was intercepted by the Iron Dome missile system. A barrage of rockets has also hit Israel's Ragavim military base. Tel Aviv says that over 70 rockets have been fired on Israeli settlements.
Oh, I see. Dalmar said, do you actually have some real proof such weapons are actually being used? Man, Russia and America is putting them on the Humvees and on their ships. What do you think this is, fantasy? Here's your evidence. You don't need to be a genius to look at the picture. Look at the bombs and look at the one in the middle. See it? It doesn't send out shrapnel. It's not sending out big plumes. It's not throwing up 100 square foot of earth. It's not throwing up dead Palestinian children. It's molten lava in every direction. That's what a laser does. And this is a sophisticated directed energy weapon. Come on, man. Use your common sense. Here we go. We got more coming up. Now they're talking about the Mona nuclear power plant, which is Israel's secretive, illegal nuclear power facility, and where they have about 200 nuclear weapons, fissionable material produced, and they have, I think it's 5 nuclear subs. Totally maniacal. Here we go.
Hamas has deliberately targeted Dimona nuclear reactor, which is a textbook case of nuclear terrorism. If they do succeed in striking the nuclear, and it's outrageous, I mean, post-Fukushima, it's just insane.
Post-Fukushima. 3 melted reactors. 100% meltdowns. Each one of them 3 times the size of Chernobyl. Each one of them 100% Chernobyl, 1/3 the size of any of the reactors at Fukushima. Fukushima also has Unit 4. Don't forget about the spent fuel pools. You don't even want me to get me started. Let's go back to that clip. That always irritates me that you used that.
If they do succeed in striking the nuclear reactor, would this be crossing a red line for the U.S. and international community to strike Hamas?
The Dimona strike, I think this is another thing that would have huge psychological impact, right? There would be, frontline headlines everywhere in the world about the